What? Shh, be quiet. Welcome to the Power Trip Podcast. This is Thursday Evening Chat, and we're your hosts,
Charmaine
and Saquon.
Welcome, everyone.
What's up, people? How's everyone?
Yeah. Yes, to all those who are new, please begin to all those who continuously come back week after week. Hey, y'all.
What's good?
Alrighty. So every Thursday evening, we get together to discuss controversial topics surrounding family, relationships, and community. We have three main goals in mind. Our first goal is to strengthen communication skills within our community. Our second goal is to expand our perspective so that we can gain a greater understanding. And our third and most important goal is to build exceptional families that will continue to uplift the world around us.
Right.
So with that being said, welcome everyone.
Hola.
Hey, Dolly. Hey, Boobiz.
What's up, my G? Hey, Janae.
How are you guys doing? And yes, so last week we weren't here.
Yes, we missed you guys.
Yes, we took a little trip to visit family, so we were out of time. Hey, Chriselle.
Hey, what's up, Chriselle?
How's your night going? We hope everyone is doing well and having a wonderful Thursday evening. So I guess we'll just jump right into our Thursday evening chat. And our topic for tonight is dating with kids. And when is a good time? Hey, Charlie. Thank you guys
Charlie?
for watching. When is a good time to introduce your child to who you're dating? Also, we're going to, delve into some other topics around this other topics around this conversation. But first, we're going to play a quick clip. Oh, go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Well, I think really that if you're going to make the choice to introduce your children to your new partner, you should really know them well. So, sometimes people say, oh, well, I want them to get to know my kids right away. We're a package deal. That works, but you should really know your partner very well before you kind of introduce them, because there is loss that children go through, firstly, that they've gone through the divorce. So if they get to know your partner and then you guys decide that you're not dating anymore, it makes them have more loss.
And what's also interesting is we were talking earlier, and we keep forgetting that it's not just about the new partner and that new relationship. You should also be telling your ex that you're going to be introducing the children to this new partner in your life.
Exactly. It's a level of respect. Your new partner probably will not be jumping for joy because you're introducing your children to a new partner, but out of respect, they should know, and it allows the children to kind of have open communication. So if they do come back and say, Daddy, I met Mom's new boyfriend, it doesn't cause a lot of havoc in the relationship.
You could get that phone call and be like, excuse me, what?
Yes,
what's happening?
Exactly.
Okay, so you want to try to avoid that.
Definitely.
And should there be a certain level of respect in terms of your children versus the new partner? Do you have to force your children to like this new person?
Well, listen, the relationship should bloom on a constant basis. The fact that your children are meeting someone new is probably very awkward for them. They've probably only seen their parents together. So seeing their parents in this kind of teenage, new love life, dating, getting ready is probably awkward for them. So I think that kind of relationship goes very slowly. I think as they get to know them, the relationship should bloom, and hopefully they get to know each other and enjoy each other's company.
Okay. So, question for you all. Do you think there is a specific, amount of time that you should date someone before introducing them to your child? And while you guys answer, I'm going to throw the question to you, hun. So, do you think that you should wait a certain amount of months, a year? Do you think it matters? Let me know what you think.
I think it does matter.
Okay.
To be honest, though, I can't put a specific amount of time on it. What I think matters the most is how much do you know that other person?
Okay, gotcha.
So let's start there, I guess. As far as how long does it really take to know somebody?
Honestly, It really varies.
It does.
Because you can date somebody for a whole year and not truly know who they are.
And to a certain extent, you know, I honestly feel like you don't really know someone until you live with them.
I agree with that. You get to know them on a whole nother level.
Right. And if you get what I'm saying, and especially with children and intimate relationship and love, right? That's the goal. Right. The goal is to eventually live together, have a family, and I'm supposed to know you up to this point, right? And then we move in and you could be more than what I really.
Totally different person.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So for you, it's based off of how well you feel like you know the person.
Right.
And then anything else that determines when it's the right time to introduce them?
No, I mean, based off how well you know the person, and you know, I just would like to have like I would have had to met your family, your friends.
Okay.
You know, kind of like you're vetted a little bit.
Gotcha.
You know, it would be that kind of complex for me.
Okay. And so for all you guys who are just joining, thank you and welcome. We're talking about dating when you have children. And right now we're asking everyone to answer, when do you think is a good time to introduce your child to whoever you're dating?
Okay. And Chriselle says when they're interested.
And are you referring to when your child is interested, Chriselle, or when the person you're dating is interested? Because I think that's something too. You don't want to, there's some children who won't be comfortable with you dating.
True.
And there's some children who, you know, especially if the other parent is in their life still, they may feel like this is a replacement. They may feel like you're getting taken away, you know, a fear of abandonment, or someone's trying to replace their parent.
Yeah.
So
I feel like in that sense, you would also have to factor in your child's comfortability.
Right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And maybe you can't even say how long that would take.
Yeah.
But you would really, if they feel like it's possibly a replacement and their dad or their parent was in their life, like you would definitely have to gauge how they feel about having someone there. Like, really, really hard.
And I think it's important to it's also important to have the conversation with your child and just say, like, do you feel, you know, have the conversation. Are you comfortable with this? Or how do you feel about this? Because at the end of the day, you can't just stay single because your child may not like you dating.
Right.
But you want to have that open line of communication to let them know that, you know, I'm here. I hear you. And I want you to feel comfortable. But also on the other end, I am going to date as a part of life, you know, and just reassure them that they're not going to, you know, lose their parent, mother or father, you know. Chriselle also says the person you're dating, Charlie says.
Oh, that was the answer to the question. Who were you referring to?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. The person you're dating.
I think that's a good point too, though.
What?
Because when
that being a good time?
Well, I think that's part of, like, I think the answer is not just black and white.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so like how you said, it's kind of, you want to know the person well. You kind of want to vet the family, the friends.
Right.
We want to have a conversation with the child, you know, with the child, make sure they're comfortable.
But I also don't want to introduce you to my child and you haven't even shown interest.
Right. And you're
knowing that I have a child.
Exactly. So I do think it's a multifactorial type of approach you have to take to it.
Right.
I do think, though, let me read this really quick. So Booby says it also depends on the age of the children. Ooh, Booby, can you expand a little bit? So like if your child is younger, would you say it could be sooner, or versus if the child is older? Can you go into detail? Because I like where you're going with this.
You know, with that one, I feel like it's crazy with the ages of a child. So if it's early, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Because because to a certain extent, you bring a certain people around your child, no matter what, right? How early or whatever, especially when they are young, it's energy that passes on.
Right.
So, and they get to feel that. So that could be a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
But mentally, I don't necessarily think that they would necessarily take on any type of weight or
have that type of emotional attachment to the person.
Right. Now, once they start hitting maybe 2, 3 and up, then you have to think about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Until they're in their preteens or something like that.
Yeah, I guess it also depends on like, so what you're kind of saying and what Booby I think is hinting at is like the development of the child.
Right.
And how emotionally attached are they getting to people? How do they even understand relationships? Hey, Dane.
What's up, Dane?
How do they understand relationships, and do they feel like this is just a friend and this is someone who they, comes and goes? Or how are you behaving when this person is in their presence?
True.
Are you acting super intimate and things like that? So I think that all plays a role. I personally do feel like at least 6 months should pass before you introduce your child to the person you're dating, because I feel like, granted, you may never really know who you're dating even at 6 months, but I feel like that gives you enough time to kind of go through, a few rocky roads, and it allows enough time for that person to kind of show true colors. And then also, I feel like you can, I don't know, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because I also feel like something I think about is like, you're forming this relationship with this person, right? And your feelings can be growing, especially in 6 months. Your feelings can go from here to here. And you can feel like you're so in love. People get married in 6 months.
That's true.
So I feel like you could be having this huge bond, and then you introduce your child into the picture, and it could just go left.
Right.
Because what if your child doesn't like the person? What if, the person doesn't like,
isn't
if they don't have
person.
children,
and
they
don't have the best type of parenting skills whatsoever.
I was going to ask that next is, do you guys believe or think that if you're dating someone with children, that you should have children yourself? Or if you're a single parent, do you feel like whoever you date should have children? Let us know in the comments. Dame says he's in and out of class trying to be degree like y'all. Thanks, Dame.
Okay.
And I'm not introducing my kids to no female until I absolutely know I'm going to marry her. 6 to 8 months. Okay. I think that's another really good point. What you have to know what your intentions are with that person. Because if you're just having little flings and, doing things that aren't long-term, don't do that to your child.
Yeah,
because that's going to cause more damage than any type of good.
Introducing that person to your child just literally for your convenience.
Pretty much. So guys, in the comments, write whether or not, as a single parent, you think that you should, if you're going to date, you should date a person who has children, or does it matter if they don't have children or not? What do you think, hon?
I don't think it matters.
No? Why not?
No. Because I think about myself. I don't got kids, but I'm good with kids. Like, so if that was a strike against me in a relationship that I was trying to pursue, I would feel the type of way. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm in no type of way am I bad with kids, really. You get what I'm saying? I have.
Oh, I'm not gonna say you are. You're not. Yeah. I haven't seen you be bad with children.
Yeah, but I have some things to learn.
Right.
As a parent, you get what I'm saying? But to say, oh, you don't have kids, so this is not gonna work.
You're disqualified, sir.
It's like, what?
Well, so Dame says it matters. Dame, can you tell us why you believe it matters? And I was going to say, even though you're good with children, which, I wouldn't have dated you if I did, or, chose to get married if I didn't think you were. But it's like, we don't have children 24/7. I think that's a different ball game than like, we'll have our nieces and nephews for the weekend and stuff. True. And it's cool. And we want children of our own.
Right.
So I believe we'll be great parents.
Yeah.
However, it's like, I don't think it should be a disqualifier, but I can understand the mindset of like, you don't know what you're about to get yourself into.
Right.
So I don't think it would be that you're not a great potentially a great parent, but they may be looking at it from the point of you never had a child, so you don't know what it consists of and the sacrifices and all that, it entails to raise a child.
Yeah, and that's how people feel about marriage. They don't know what they're walking into.
That too. Dame says it takes a special kind of person to handle, co-parent, and raise a child that is not their own. That's a good point as well. You're on it, Dame.
You're right. You are right, especially when it comes to Miss Janae.
Yeah. I did some.
It does matter when it comes to as far as like raising a child that's not your own.
Mm-hmm.
That takes like a self-drive. Like you have to have that compassion and like internally to make sure that you are going to be there for that child no matter what.
And treat that child like it's your own.
Right.
Because, another point, but let me read a few comments before I jump off. All right. So Booby says, if your children are all adults over the age of 21, then the attachment isn't really there as much. That's true. I do think like once they're adults, the attachment's not fully there, but some adults, they feel away. They still feel away. Hi, Aunt Tanya.
Hey, what's up, Tanya? Hey, guys. People think different when they have kids of their own. They do.
And that's what I was going to say. Okay, so what happens then when you're dating someone, right? You're being the step parent, and then you guys have a child of your own. Because that whole dynamic can change, because when you have your own child, the feelings are going to be different regardless.
So you're right. And Tanya, question, is that a disqualifier then if you don't? Even so, being that you know that they think different when they have kids of their own, is it a disqualifier if they don't have kids?
I don't think so.
So what was your question one more time? What were you saying one more time?
I was saying, so like say you're dating someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a child.
Yes.
Nope, I'm gonna say it all, just in case there's new people in the room. And then you guys have a child together.
Yes. The feelings are definitely gonna change. But this is what I believe. I kind of think that you have to be you have to reflect and you have to be open, because your feelings are going to change, and you have to just kind of like evaluate how you are treating your stepchild. So things you start noticing that you're doing for your biological child, you have to say, okay, well, dang, when you reflect, oh man, I probably wouldn't have done that, or I didn't do that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I think certain things would be subconscious though. So I do think it's great to reflect, like you're saying, because I don't think it would be intentionally done that you're trying to treat one child different than the other.
Exactly. And that's why I said to sit back and be like, oh, well, maybe I didn't do that. Because you may have been with this child for, let's say, 3 years, and now you have a child, and then you realize you may have had a synonymous there was a synonymous event or something that happened, and you didn't handle it the same.
Right. Well, and that could be multiple things though, because parents change with each child too. Like sometimes it's like trial and error with one child versus how you handle the situation with the next.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but
it could be either.
Yeah, maybe you still feel like you didn't handle it wrong both times, but you handle it more. Usually by the next child, right? The parent is more light.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But now this is your child, the second, and you more serious. You like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You took it a little bit more serious. So you kind of got to reflect and be like, man, okay.
So I guess, I agree with you. I think it's important to sit back and reflect and just make sure, like, check in with yourself and making sure that you're not showing favoritism or being harder on one child.
Right.
Just
like
check
bias.
in. Yeah, because I don't think it would be intentional.
No, not at all. Tanya says, no, it should not disqualify. there is a lot of understanding and communication that needs to happen before meeting the kids and during the relationship. Right. That's true.
Okay. So another question for you guys. What happens when you introduce your significant other to your child and your child does not like them? What do you do?
Ooh. I feel like you have to communicate with your child and find out why.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to see, because, you know, like, let's think about a baby that just you come around them and they cry every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not liking you at the time, but it's something else. It's something that I'm not really sure how to explain it, but it's not something that like even they could fully explain. Like I guess you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, I agree. I think it's great to try to figure out the why.
Right.
Because it could be like we just kind of mentioned earlier, fear of their other parent, dad or mom, being replaced.
Yeah.
Like this person's trying to come in and take a role that's already filled.
Right. So if that was the reason,
Mhm.
it's a lot of speaking, communication, maybe
Right.
therapy or whatever the case may be to get that child to be comfortable with the situation before you move forward.
Right. So that's good for that point.
Mhm.
What if they just don't like the person? They don't mind you dating, but they just don't like that person.
Then it's a package deal. The person got to go.
So you would be like, sorry, you got to go, deuces.
Yeah.
Okay. Child always comes first.
Yeah. I believe that. Like, you know,
Mhm.
if my child could communicate to me
Mhm.
the things that they don't like,
Mhm.
and well, you know, if I act, it's not even if I see it. If I understand what they're saying, then I gotta accept it because this is a package deal. This is here no matter what before you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This was here before you. It's gonna always be here,
Mhm.
and I have to worry about their happiness as well.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
yeah.
Okay. Tanya says it's over.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I kind of skipped a thought in my head.
Mhm.
So let's see. Agree, Saquon. How do you introduce your child?
How?
Yeah, how? Like, I think you should do it kind of like in a fun way. Like not like a whole sit down dinner, like, son, I want to introduce you to so and so. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it should be kind of just chill and, you know, allow them to talk and get to know each other. But it shouldn't be something that's like feels just awkward and pressure because it's already awkward.
I don't think it should be personal. I think it should be okay. Well, it's like Sylvester says, I feel meeting kids is not a problem at any time unless you meet that person on the street.
So, Bess, you're saying if you're dating somebody for 2 days, they can meet the child? They can meet your child? Is that what you're saying?
And okay, so what I'm about to say, maybe it changes it too.
Huh.
Because the way that I would introduce somebody to my child, let's say I was having a barbecue or something like that, and there's a lot of people that's going to be here. That's when you might meet my child.
Okay.
Your child will be introduced to my child, will be introduced to you, or you will be introduced to my child. You will be introduced to my child as my friend
first.
Right.
Okay.
As my friend. The same way that I want my child to look at the way a relationship should be. This is my friend. And obviously, you know, they may build a bond. They might see them around because, you know, a child does build bonds with your friends.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with that. And friends come and go. Right.
So how long would you keep the charade that they're just a friend, knowing good and darn well you're dating?
Once like I said, from there, I feel like I could kind of evaluate how they kind of filling them out and how that person is interacting with my child. So then that would kind of gauge things, I think.
Okay.
On when, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, it's more
Sylvester
as
says,
if it's my friend meeting my kid. Yeah.
Okay. Not you, Bess, him.
What?
You're supposed to say people just doing audio don't know what
You're right.
reading.
You're right.
So Sylvester said, yeah, if it's more as if it's my friend meeting my kid.
Right.
All right.
But like I said, no one-on-one, because this is the thing. The interaction between me and you one-on-one just at my house may not be what it's going to be at a barbecue or something like that. And that's not what I want to really push right away.
How early is this though?
The one-on-one?
No, the barbecue.
The barbecue? Oh, the barbecue, I think. How long you think you would? I mean, the barbecue could be a month or two. Really? Yeah, because I'm thinking about how long you could meet somebody and get to know them before you probably just into I don't know why I'm saying interview, but introduce them, not introduce, but invite them to like a barbecue that you was having at your house or something like that.
Okay. I just feel like I get it, but it's a little deceptive, but I understand it. Because you're just saying this is your friend, but it's really not just your friend. But technically, because I guess if you're just dating, you're still getting to know this person, and actually, I know a situation kind of like this, and honestly, it was kind of like, gauging how their child would feel, and then also having an experience where their child didn't handle it well, so it kind of made it more, walking on eggshells to kind of say, okay, well, this friend of mine, we're more than friends now. So I get it. Like, I don't know. It's interesting because then I feel like, well, what is the child viewing this as? If now, let's say after the barbecue, you start hanging out more one-on-one and,
So after the barbecue and everything like that, if things continue to progress and your bond with the child starts to progress and you coming over to my house and it is a one-on-one thing, I think it's a part of still open communication.
Right.
And what age and maturity do you think your child is at to where I could speak to them about this? Yeah. To where they might understand.
And feel comfortable, because I get the fear part too, as being the parent, not wanting that hurt on your child to feel that way and trying to have a conversation. But then if you have a situation where it doesn't go good, you would be more hesitant to be like, okay, let me introduce you.
Right. But like I said, once they have a good bond and stuff like that, you could kind of more so talk to them. And like I said, also if the child is of age to understand, you have a conversation with them at that point and be like, hey, this is what's going on, because the bond is built.
Rather than just a stranger coming into their life, and now you're saying, well, mom's been dating him for not 20 years, for 6 months, and he's gonna be around. So I agree. I guess seeing it from that perspective, I do like the introducing as a friend first, just to get a feeler. Just getting a little feeler, and then
Tanya said, you want to put it up? Well, Tanya said, and you don't want to keep introducing people as your girlfriend or boyfriend. And exactly.
That's true.
And that's what I was kind of getting at before, was that I don't want to make this something that I wouldn't want my kid to do.
Like have a rotation of people in and out.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's very true. So that's a good point. You don't want it to seem like you just out dating a lot.
Right. Because that's not what if I was to raise my child a certain way, I don't want them to be dating. I mean,
that's not
I can't say I don't want you dating a lot. I actually can't say that, because dating doesn't always have to be sexual
But you just don't. I think you just want to set the example that you're not just having people coming into your house and into your life like that, and everybody's your boyfriend or girlfriend. Because dating doesn't necessarily also mean that they get the title boyfriend or girlfriend either.
Exactly. And that's what I was getting at. That's why I'm like, I don't think the dating part is bad, but when you got to claim everybody, or you just always being claimed.
Yeah, it could be a lot. And it also teaches your child, certain behaviors.
Right. CA just says, yes, my significant other was brought around my daughter in a group setting rather than an intimate setting.
Okay. Nice.
Right. I mean, I honestly think that's the easy way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's real low key. You don't make it anything like serious and just uncomfortable for your child or for anybody involved.
And like I'm saying, you get to see everything there. You get what I'm saying? You get to see how honestly, you start to see how your children interact with your friends in general. So if you bringing this person around as just a friend, you get to see how your child is going to interact with them. You get to see if they cringy or something when they interact with kids. You get to see
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially go back to interest. If you hit as my friend, right? And my child come around and you never engage or anything like that, I get to see that too.
That's a sign.
Yeah.
You
ain't want to help me make a plate. You don't want to do nothing. Like you're not picking up on things that should be started to pick up. You get what I'm saying? Before I introduce you or bring you around my child. Because I feel like once I bring you around my child, you need to help me out.
Okay, good. That kind of segues into the next thing I want to talk about. So now that you're dating and you've introduced your significant other to your child, you're not married, you're just dating. Does your significant other take on the responsibility of a co-parent? Now, are they, do you have expectations that they should buy stuff for your child or, pick them up? Like say they have, school or something, like are they picking them up? Like what responsibilities are now shared with the significant other? And you guys let me know in the comments.
Right. So, and I don't have no kids, so that's to start with. But
what?
I kind of look at it like, no, I wouldn't give you the co-parenting responsibilities. But like I said, like make a plate. Like if you see me making 2 plates or something like that, I want you to at least factor in like when we grab plates, you grab 3 for me, you and my child. You willing to, you just willing to make it easy.
Taking the initiative,
little things.
And being inclusive.
Right. I'm not asking you to pick up my child. I'm not asking you to buy anything. Not things like that. Like I said, things a parent would do. No, but things that a good friend that actually is interested or puts the fact that I have a child into consideration. That means a lot.
Okay. I agree. So Booby says there isn't an obligation until we're married. Any and everything you do will be because you want to, not because you have to. So I agree with both of you. I feel like it's not an expectation, but it's also kind of like an evaluation, I guess.
And that's what,
because
go ahead.
Just because it's like, I'm not going to tell you have to do these things, but if you never take the initiative and start kind of moving into this role, then it kind of shows me like, this is how it's going to be even once we're married.
Right. So I'm not going to tell you have to, but you have to without me telling you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because if you don't, then honestly, it's like, it'll be a red flag to not wanting to move forward.
Exactly. Yeah. What's good, G?
Hey, G.
Tanya says, well, that will tell you where the relationship is going. And exactly. At that point, you're not even helping out like my friends do, Well,
it's just, and because I can give someone some slack to say, hey, if you never had a child and you never had siblings or had to take care of children, you may not understand certain things. But after dating for a while and kind of seeing how things are and being around my child and stuff like that, I would expect you to pick up on certain things and still take some type of initiative and stuff like that.
What's dating for a while?
Like, well, I don't really think that they should be introduced to like 6 months. But if you do the whole friend barbecue thing, then I introduce you as my significant other at the 6-month mark, and then we move forward, I would say by month 8, you need to be picking up some cues.
Okay. What's
hey,
good,
Kev?
Kev?
Kev
Says
said
he agrees.
we
agrees.
couldn't get that one
So, yeah,
some people honestly have no experience with children, and also kind of what Booby said earlier, it depends on how old the child is, because you have children who are a little bit more independent. Once they reach a certain age, they can do more for themselves versus a young child, 2, 3,
that's
4,
true.
5.
That's true. Like I said, it depends on how much you alleviate what I got going on.
I mean, I think, overall in a relationship, you're supposed to help each other.
Yeah.
So, I don't think you put all the extra things you don't want to do on the other person, but I do think there's supposed to be a support as well.
Right. Without being asked.
Yes. You act like you got a child.
I'm just saying.
Okay. So, before we go on to this topic where it's like a written in advice type thing. What about, and for all of you guys who are just joining us, thank you. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already.
Please and thank you.
And share with a friend. So, next question for you all. What would you prefer your child call your significant other? Because and it depends. I think it depends on if the other parent's in their life or not, or I'm just going to ask you guys, what would you guys prefer your child call your significant other, especially if you're moving towards marriage or if you get married, or does it matter? Let me know. Go ahead.
You answer this one.
Want me to answer it? Yeah. Okay. So for me, it would be whatever my child's comfortable with. Now, I wouldn't want them just calling them like Mr. John or, Mr. Saquon, especially if we get married. You wouldn't
want them calling them that?
No.
Not after at what point? What point?
Like once we get married.
Okay.
Like even before that, like once we're engaged and stuff and we know we're moving towards that, it just sounds so formal. And it's like we're becoming a family. Right. So I don't want you to feel like you have to call that person Mr. So-and-so, or even by their first name.
I feel like that's something that comes where your child might be a little older.
What?
Like if they feel like they have to call them that?
No, because I might introduce my child when we first meet and stuff. This is Mr. Saquon, because they're not going to just call you by your first name. Okay. So that's what they may know you by.
Right.
But eventually, it could be like a nickname. It doesn't have to be dad. It doesn't have to, I wouldn't force that on my child ever. But, and I think sometimes naturally nicknames happen. So why are you laughing?
Yeah, I'm laughing because I'm like, what you're saying is like, you could play the system.
What?
You could play the system based on the nickname that you give. So the nickname, so what you're saying is a nickname kind of breaks the ice a little bit, and it's not as formal. It's something more comfortable. But I think about Poppy. Poppy nickname is still like father.
Well, that's not his nickname. So
that's not his nickname, but that's what.
Well, it became a nickname for others because, in our family, so as you can see with you, everybody who you call aunt, I call aunt.
Okay.
Everybody who you say, like Aunt Beverly, I just repeat what you say. So it's the same thing in our family. So we had a discussion about calling Poppy like dad, or what would we call him? And so, I didn't feel comfortable. I just don't feel comfortable saying like dad because my dad wasn't around. But so we said Poppy, and that's the Spanish version of dad.
So this is the name that y'all came up with.
Yeah. And so because we call him that, everybody like Booby, like my cousins and everybody, they're going to call them exactly what we call him. And that's why you have my other cousin from Poppy's side of the family who are like, yeah, it just sounds so weird when you guys say that. Because for them, they call him Bamboo.
Right.
Or Bam. So it's just, for us, it's just a little bit different. But and he's Puerto Rican, so it fits. But if it was, someone who's something else, or if they are, they know their culture, you could call them that if you want, if it makes you feel comfortable.
So, all right. So think back when y'all first started saying Poppy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there like a not an excitement to saying Poppy, but like it's like a different feeling to saying Poppy, like not like a child would think it's funny, like, oh, I'm calling him Poppy, like
No.
y'all. What?
I don't remember. I can't remember like how I felt, like if it was funny or not.
Cause I would think, like, I would wonder, like, if you was like, well, now I gotta say Poppy, like I think I'm calling him Dad when I say Poppy.
I
like,
didn't
do
think
you
that
feel like
either.
do you feel that now? Like,
No, I feel like it's just a name.
exactly, and that's how I'm saying it's like a nickname.
Yeah, no, as I said, it became a nickname. Yeah,
Right, and that's why I was kind of getting at, though. It's like it's almost like a blur of the line.
not really to me, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Kev said he would have his children call the person by their first name. Anybody else? What would you guys have your child call your significant other? So what would you say?
I like the nickname idea,
Mm-hmm.
but either that or their first name.
Because that's what you do.
Huh?
Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. So and they could, it's based on a comfortability in a relationship, and I personally believe on what you start, to call somebody else.
Yeah. And I think that plays a big role. G said their name. Okay. I think that plays a big role because for me growing up, like even with your mom and Papa J, so like here, I just said Papa J and it's Mama J. Like I'm not going to,
You a nickname person though.
I give everybody nicknames.
Yeah, everybody get a name.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
get what I'm saying?
So I think it also depends on that and like your personality and how you're brought up and just how you associate.
Right.
So most adults I won't call by their first name unless that's kind of how I'm introduced to them. But most people, like I eventually will say like aunt or Mrs. or something. So yeah, and you're right. I give a lot of nicknames.
Yeah, my daughter is still so young. I would choose a nickname.
Now it's from Ciasia.
Yeah, and that's what I think, a nickname, because a nickname could have longevity.
It does. And it's just like, and sometimes nicknames come out of just fun times or whatever.
Right.
So I think a nickname for me personally would be the best thing because it's less formal. It's not, you don't have to call them dad or any type of, anything like that. But it's something where it's like you could feel comfortable just saying, yeah, Blockhead.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Blockhead. No, but yeah, you could say, some type of nickname that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I think that would be good though. I think that would work out really good for.
G said, mine already a nickname. That's true. But it would be like a nickname that's not your name. No, some people do. Yeah, because I know, for example, this singer, her boyfriend's name is Clarence, and her son used to call him Claire Bear because that's what she called him. Mm-hmm. So it still has something to do with his name. Yeah. So yeah, so if your nickname's a nickname, I guess.
Yeah, then it is.
It's just IG.
Yeah, and actually, the nickname just always make it easier for the child to remember and everything like that.
Yeah,
they don't know, and they still don't know you by your first.
Right, they're still not calling you by your first name.
Right.
All right, guys. So next topic and final topic for the night, with this conversation is how do you handle the breakup? So we went from how do we introduce the child to your partner? Now they're introduced. We said, what do we call them? How do you introduce them? All of that. Now what happens when you've been dating the person and then it doesn't work out? How do you go separate ways with the whole family unit? Booby says, my nickname and name have nothing to do with each other. True that, Booby. Well, as you guys can see, Janae, and I call her Booby. So I'm going to read this post that was written in, and we'll discuss. All right. So this is a 26-year-old male, and he's breaking up with his girlfriend, who's also 26, and she's a single mom.
With a 10-year-old boy.
Yes. So this Statement says, my girlfriend and I have been dating for 2 years, and I became very close to her son. He never had a father figure in his life, and I kind of stepped into that role. He never called me dad or anything like that, but we were quite close. I was like an uncle to him. I realized I no longer wanted to be in the relationship, and my girlfriend and I have agreed to part ways. Obviously, parting ways with her means parting ways with her son. He is especially attached to me, like I said earlier on. I know he has some trauma in the past, and I'd probably be adding to it. I have also been supporting the two of them during these trying times, so not only would he lose me, but he would lose his home and some financial security. I've given his mom some time to move out, but she will most likely be living in a dingy apartment, and they would be living off of food banks.
Man, that's hard.
As the relationship is over, I don't want to be giving money to them, and I think my ex needs to sort things out herself. Also, I will be moving on in life and I will meet other people. I don't think it's wise for me to continue a relationship with him. I know there is no good way to tell him, but I want to minimize the damage. Right now, I'm thinking of taking him to the park and telling him over some ice cream. All right. So there's a few things to unload with that one.
So let me start off. I don't think it's he don't have any type of it's not for him to be saying anything.
Okay.
To the child.
Go ahead. Explain more.
That I mean, he may feel bad,
but
this don't have nothing to do with you. It doesn't, because this is her choice. And you came into the relationship, you know what I'm saying, where he already didn't have a dad or whatever the case may be. He's 10 years old. He only been there for 2 years. You may want to say something, but that's for his mother, like, to handle.
So you feel like he should just kind of go ghost and have the mom explain what happened?
As far as the child is concerned, yeah, you got to go ghost.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, you got to go ghost. That's, like I said, that's not for you to be doing.
Okay, so I disagree somewhat. I feel like he should have a conversation with the mom and see how does she want to go about it.
If she say that's okay.
Right.
No, yeah, if she say it's okay for you to have the talk or have the conversation and say that, then yeah. I still wouldn't do it. I mean, if you're seeking that and she says it's okay, do your thing, player.
I feel like that may cause more damage than good. Just leaving someone's life and not having a conversation, because even if one parent says, okay, in this example, even if the mom sits him down and says, oh, okay, we didn't work out, we went separate ways, so he's no longer going to be in your life.
Right.
2 years is a long time in child years
to
form a bond.
Right.
And so if this person never says anything to you and just one day you never see them again, like I think as a child, you would feel some type of way.
I mean, okay. And all right. So Tanya says, I feel like it's admirable for him to want to talk with the child, even though he is not obligated to speak with him. All right. I believe it's very admirable, right? And it speaks of his compassion and who he is, right? But at the same time, what are you going to do when you talk to this child? Lie to them?
Because
it's not for you to go and explain to them that the relationship didn't work between him and their mother.
But why can't it be a sit down with both? I think the most ideal thing would be a sit down with both parties, like the girlfriend and him there, to explain it. Just the same way with a divorce, because now you're still losing somebody who you looked at as, well, he said uncle, but it's like you had this close bond with. So I think it would be better for both people to sit there, let him see how to handle it in a mature, loving, responsible way, instead of you just leaving out of his life without a word.
Right. So Tanya says, the child may internalize and think it's his fault.
Exactly.
That's true. So I think that's what would come out of pulling the child to the side and having this conversation and all of this. I think that will come from that. In a perfect situation, maybe they should all have just the conversation. You get what I'm saying? But in this sense, he said he want to take the child to the park and all of that. No, that's out of line.
Well, he's asking for advice.
Yeah,
so
he's
I
asking
think
for advice. The advice that I would give him is that's out of line.
Okay. To just take her child without her permission and stuff, I think that is overstepping a boundary.
Right.
The advice I would give, because you just said that's out of line. You didn't. That's okay. That's good. So that part is you would say no, and then you would advise him to go ghost, right?
Okay. So what I would advise is, you had a conversation with her. You know what I'm saying? You handle that relationship as mature as possible.
And it seems like they are.
Yeah. And I would actually advise. The only thing for him that I could say is, speak to her and let her know that, hey, I just want you to talk to him and, try to, I don't know what you would tell her because it's up to her to do what she want to do.
I would advise you, sir, to have a conversation with her and just let her know that you want to have a conversation with the 10-year-old so that he knows you're not just abandoning him or that nothing was his fault. And I think it would be mostly ideal for you three to sit down together and have that conversation. I agree with you, hun, where you say he shouldn't just take him off by himself and have this conversation. I do think it should be all three of them just having the conversation so that he's going to be hurt regardless. Right. But I think it'll do less damage if he doesn't just go ghost on him and they actually have a conversation. Now, furthermore, what do you think about the fact that he said he was also the financial stability? And now they're going to have to be like, they were used to eating, okay, I'm not going to say filet mignon, but they were used to eating, at home.
At least they were average.
Groceries, and now they're going to be surviving off of food banks. What do you think about that? That's a toughie.
I think that is tough.
It is. Morally, it's tough. Logically, it's not.
Yeah, because I was young, but I had a situation where this girl didn't have that much money, and
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and I can't, I'm not the type to even just look at it like if somebody hungry, I'm gonna make sure that somebody good,
right? You have compassion,
and I would do that for a friend or anything, So in this situation, it happened there too. I had to go ghost. I mean,
you didn't have to. You chose.
No, I chose to go ghost. But I think that the situation would be handled like she's gotta figure out something for them.
Wait, you went ghost on her too?
I mean,
no, or you guys just split and then because the child was young.
I didn't go ghost because I was visible, so I didn't go ghost. No.
So she still saw you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you said you went ghost.
But as far as me and that child, me and that whole relationship and everything, that was no more.
Yeah, but you also you bought them a meal. You weren't financially like their home.
No, and that's what I'm saying. But even making sure somebody's eating, right? You understand that if you understand that once I'm not there, that's taken away.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So the reason why I did it was because of sympathy or compassion at the fact that somebody's hungry. Mm-hmm. Now you thinking, okay, well, if I walk away now, what I was providing is no longer.
Right. So what do you?
So, I mean, I think that it's tough. It's tough, but it's something that you still have to do. And I mean, the fact that he feel like, they're going to be on food banks and what he said, something in food banks. A dingy apartment in food banks. It's just another thing that you gotta just say, dang, and let it go.
Okay. I mean,
because that's not your responsibility.
I feel like that's like the logical answer. It is like at the end of the day, they're both adults and they both made their own choices. And granted, they probably were planning on to staying together long term, getting married, he took the responsibility. Like he showed really great character. He took the responsibility of, providing for her and her son, and, forming that good relationship with them, making sure they had a place to stay, food to eat. So now that they do separate ways, he's not obligated to provide for her financially. And he doesn't have to provide a home for her. He doesn't have to provide food for them. And so logically, it's like, yeah. Then morally, it just feels like it would just mess with me. Like if I was in that situation, it would mess with me because I wouldn't want to see a child struggle and be living in, a dingy apartment and have to go to food banks in order to have food.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Go
Go ahead.
In a perfect world, right? I would be rich. And even if I did have to leave, I would pay for somebody's apartment for a year.
Right. You try to help support so they can get on their feet.
Especially if I knew it to that extent, like if I knew that I came into this relationship and I was the breadwinner 100%, you get what I'm saying? I'm not going to just leave you like that. Like, but if I'm still trying to grow my account and get in a certain type of place in life, I can't do that.
Yeah. Kev says that happened to
him
me.
for real.
So in an ideal situation, I would want to be able to help, support too. But that could also be part of the reason that they broke up. I don't know, they didn't say why they broke up, but maybe she wasn't doing what was necessary to make sure she could get on her feet and have for herself. So I think that's another important factor, is making sure, like, you have a child. When you have a child and you're a single parent, like, you need to make sure that you're secure, your child is secure, especially your child is secure, which, I mean, you'd have to be secure for them to be secure. So I think that is an important lesson for her. So you can tell her this is, to make sure that she always has things, her ducks in order for her child and for herself, because she can't depend on anyone else once you're a single mom, until you're married, really, to, provide and make sure she's okay. And I don't know if, her family situation or things like that, but I pray, she does have family she could possibly lean on and help her, get on her feet. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really tough situation.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, this was a good talk, though. You guys,
it was a good talk.
Yeah, it had a lot of great points. Kev said she had a very good point. She has a very good point. Thank you. But yeah, this was good. Anything else? Any other thoughts that you guys have on any advice for Anonymous? Anything you guys can think of? Anything else you want to say?
Trying to think. Yeah, honestly, for him, the writer, pray. That's it. Pray, and you could do what you want to do. Yeah, I can understand he don't want to give any money or whatever the case may be. If you have it like that, if you have something that you could give, then I'd say do that. And you have to just walk away and just have the faith that, that child will be okay.
Yeah. And I think, like, he's giving, like, they're not even together, and he's giving time for her to move out so that she can get another apartment and things like that. Yeah. So I think that's very admirable. I feel like he has good intention behind what he's doing, and he's not just like kicking them out and leaving them high and dry. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, go. Okay. Ekes, 1 second.
Kev says there's a comfort level you need to give the child when explaining things like relationships as well.
That's very true.
It is very true.
Very true.
Janae says, what about when to introduce your child to your significant other's children? And Sylvester says, stay in a child's life as an uncle type figure.
So he would recommend that the guy stay in his life.
So I would recommend that, but I didn't want to say that.
Why?
Because that would also have to be as if you guys ended on a good term and you guys want to continue to have a relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they ended on a bad note, and he could do that. I think he's afraid from what he said, because he was like, he's going to be meeting new people, so he doesn't think it's going to be wise to stay in the child's life. I think he feels like it may cause trouble with the next relationship, to be like, oh, I have this really close uncle relationship with my ex's child.
Yeah, he could probably feel like that.
That's
I
just
would
an
just
assumption, but
yeah. If I was really able to it can cause a problem. But if I was really, really able to
hey, Uncle Mark,
do something for the child, what I would do is explain to this new relationship to this new person that I'm with what's going on here ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? And also, if we take a step backwards, right? And then now I'm just uncle at the barbecues, you're gonna come with me.
But yeah, oh yeah. For sure.
You with me, so you understand, and you know that yes, this is a relationship that I was in. You know that they live in a certain type of life. This is what I'm trying to do for the child.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I couldn't see myself necessarily just exiting
the child's life. Yeah. I think that's a good point too. I think you can do it, and hopefully the next person you're dating can be understanding and trust and have trust for you to know that strictly this is what you're doing. It's not a whole bunch of conversation inappropriateness with the woman, and like you said, she can be there to see and really see how things are going.
Yeah, she just has to be very understanding.
Yes, Uncle Mark joined us.
Hey, what's up, Uncle Mark?
Okay, so Booby says, she said, what was the best time to introduce the children to each other if both are single parents?
I think it's
at the barbecue.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. At the barbecue. At the barbecue is a perfect time. I mean, to be honest with you, kids might not even like. I personally don't think they understand everything fully. With that, they might not understand everything that's happening.
You'd be surprised. Don't underestimate children. It depends what age though. But yeah, I'm
not going to underestimate them, but it's about how many times they seen the person and all of this other stuff. Like it's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah.
But I think at the barbecue should be fine because they're gonna just look at them as some of the kids that they playing with.
Right. So I think that's a good first introductory, like kind of everything at once, just as in a friend zone level. But the serious, like, okay, we're dating and these are their children or child. I think that's still after the 6 months. But I would try to do some play dates, not with just them, but with them and some other people, kind of do some play dates so they're a little bit familiar.
Yeah, maybe them and like one or two other people so that they feel like it's a group, but they still
kind of can talk and get to know each other, feel each other out. But I wouldn't want to make it to where like they start forming a super close bond just yet either, because I don't even know if this relationship's going to go all the way.
Right.
So I still want to keep it casual, keep it low key, just a fun time. And then after 6 months or however long, and I decide that I'm going to introduce you as my significant other, then we can, eventually bring the kids along after that meeting though. Like after the children know, like we're dating.
Okay.
Then after that, then we'll say, okay, and you remember their kids, Johnny and, Georgina.
Yeah, that way, the kids might have a conversation.
Yeah.
So, I'm supposed to be your sister now? Or your brother? Like, so I think that might be.
Honestly, that's a tough one too, because especially like, okay, think about with that moving in together. It's like, first of all, do you move into their house? Do they move into your house? Especially if you both have children, they're used to their own room. Now, if they have to come into your environment and get a new room, maybe you just have to get a whole new house.
I'm not for that.
A whole new house.
Yeah.
You think the whole new house?
I think, yeah. So let's say one person has 2 kids and the other has 2. You need to get a 5-bedroom house. If they had their own rooms before
Mm-hmm.
and they wasn't sharing rooms, you need to get a 5-bedroom house.
What if one has 2 and one has 1?
Then if one has 2 and one has 1, then you get in a 4-bedroom house.
So regardless, you just think they need to get a new house, though.
Yeah, if they always had their own room,
Mm-hmm.
you need to get a house where everybody has their own room.
Okay, so what if they didn't always have their own room?
Then they're gonna share their room with their sibling. I mean, that
But
they
it's
was
still
already with.
At the bottom line, it's in a new home, though. That's what I'm trying to ask you. Or do you think if, let's say, someone has a 5-bedroom, one room was a guest room, but the person who's moving in only has one child, so they're going to make it their room. Do you think that's fine? G said whole new house, cuz. I agree. I think whole new house. Because we're bringing this family together. We got to start anew. This is a transition.
I'm kind of thinking whole new house, just the way you said the guest room.
I mean, you could turn a guest, like if you have a new baby, you could turn a guest room.
It's a reason why that was the guest room. And I don't want my child to be in the guest room.
That's so dramatic. You're so dramatic. But I just think just for even playing field, especially like for the children, I think for the children and for each other, I think it would be best to start in a whole new house.
Yeah, start in a whole new house.
Yeah.
That should be fun.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, we have been on for a lovely hour.
Yep.
So we appreciate you all for joining us. Make sure again to like, comment, or you guys commented, but like and subscribe to the channel.
Yes, like we said, we missed you guys last week.
Yes.
We'll be back next week.
Yes, sir. If you guys have topics you want us to talk about, please write them in the comments, text us, or email us at thepowertrippodcast@gmail.com.
Follow us on Instagram at The Power Trip Podcast.
And on Facebook.
Yes. And don't forget to like this video, people. And again, thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Good night.
Good night.